Hello and welcome back to London Cycle Routes. Today I'll be showing you how to cycle from Brixton in South London to Tulse Hill. This ride takes about 15 minutes and you can do the whole thing on quiet streets and protected cycle paths. By public transport, the same journey takes around 20 minutes, so you can save time by making this local trip on your bike. If you find this video useful or you just enjoy watching it, then please don't forget to hit subscribe on the channel, as I try to post new videos just like it every week. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to everyone who supports the channel on Patreon. If you'd like to contribute as well, you can find a link in the description below the video. Alright, let's get going. So we're starting in the middle of Brixton at the end of Electric Avenue, and we're going to head down Atlantic Road. Do be careful on this street, as while there isn't much traffic, there is a lot of loading and also some illegal parking, so it can get quite hectic at certain times. Things improve dramatically though when we cross Cold Harbour Lane and we enter the Railton low traffic neighbourhood. You can take a second to admire the new seating and planting that's been put in by Lambeth Council here over the last few months. But above all, you'll see just loads of people getting around on bikes. On this street, that's down to the bus gate, which is just coming up ahead here. We can cycle through this, but the only motor vehicles allowed to go through it are buses, like the 322 just there. Apart from that, there's very little traffic on this street, as there's no through route for cars. That means that the only vehicles that you'll see moving around here are ones accessing properties within the area of the low traffic neighbourhood. That's turned Atlantic Road and Railton Road into a fantastic, very low traffic cycleway stretching from Brixton to Herne Hill, which is the first section of our route today. While it's not entirely traffic free, it is so low traffic that I'd be comfortable cycling on here with kids or with someone who wasn't confident on a bike. I really think anybody of all ages and abilities could really handle using a bike on this road. It seems that a lot of people agree, as there's absolutely no shortage of people on two wheels around here, and I think it is fair to say that Railton is probably one of the most successful LTNs in London when it comes to encouraging cycling, probably because of the way that it creates such a joined up route between two town centres. Railton Road itself, for such a small street, has a fascinating history. It was the starting point of the 1981 Brixton riots or uprising, and it's also been home to a number of really prominent black intellectuals and activists like CLR James, Olive Morris and Darcus Howe. You can find blue plaques for all of them on the street or just off. The end of Railton Road just past Herne Hill Station, which is coming up, was actually closed to traffic about a decade ago. The result is that it's a really nice place to sit out and have a coffee or a drink or just get a sandwich from one of the bakeries here. Now, normally we would wait for the light here, but it's green, so we're going to go across and I'll show you how to get into the park. There's a little dropped curb and you can head over the zebra crossing into Brockwell Park and hopefully don't get taken out by someone riding an e-bike really fast. The paths in Brockwell Park are plenty enough wide, but make sure you ride courteously, as they are of course shared with pedestrians and you don't want to upset anyone. There are a number of different ways to get through this park, as there are a number of different paths, and I probably didn't go the optimum way in this video. I turned off a little bit too early here and made for a different exit. I would actually probably want to keep going straight down this path rather than turning off here. As you can probably see, I actually go down here and then I loop back and do a bit of a horseshoe when I realised I actually want a different exit. But one of the beauties of riding in a park is that it doesn't actually matter, because it's a really pleasant place. Unfortunately, one drawback of riding in Brockwell Park is that it does close at sunset, so it's not fantastic for a winter commute. When the park is closed, you have to use Norwood Road, which runs around the edge of it, and although it does have a lightly segregated cycle lane in one direction, it doesn't in the other direction, which isn't ideal. In fact, if Norwood Road actually had a protected cycle lane all the way up it, we could just go straight down there to get to Tulse Hill, which is our final destination. I really hope that Lambeth Council has aspirations to do that, as it would really open up cycling in the whole area. Now I've exited Brockwell Park and gone on to Brockwell Park Gardens, which is a really quiet street, although it is a bit of a hill. As you can see, we're struggling up it a little bit. The good news is that you actually don't have to ride up here. I made another small mistake. You could actually exit the park at another exit a little bit further up, just here on the right. If you look at the map of this route, which is available in the description below the video, I've actually marked the correct route which I would take in ideal circumstances. You can see on the right here the exit that I would use with the kid and their mum coming out of the park. And that's also a great illustration of the sort of skill level you need to cycle this. Really, anyone can do it. Now we turn right here at the church onto Trinity Rise, which isn't the most pleasant street to cycle on. It does still have through traffic on here, and although it's relatively quiet when we came here at the evening rush hour, so you can see it's not too bad, you might get the occasional car coming up here, and to be honest, because of the hill, it makes it not as pleasant as it could be. In the opposite direction, you can see on the right there's a semi-protected cycle lane. This junction though could really be reworked, and it would be lovely to see something like the sort of simultaneous green junction that we saw in Waltham Forest last week. You can see that video, which is Stratford to Tottenham, and there's a really good example of how to do a junction properly for cycling. We turn off here and there's actually a road closure here, but unfortunately there isn't really a dropped curb to get through it, so we kind of had to work our way around it and around those parked cars. I think it would be great for Lambeth to rework that filter there, because it's a great road closure which keeps the streets around here nice and quiet, but it's not permeable to cycles, and some people might feel that they need to dismount on it, particularly coming in the opposite direction. The other drawback of this area, apart from the quite steep hills, is that there is a lot of on-street parking, so it would be nice to see maybe a controlled parking zone introduced here to kind of rationalise the parking spaces a little bit. You can see it's a bit of a squeeze, and if there's a car coming the other way, it can be a bit of a problem. Another improvement is what you could do to this path, which has these lamp posts in the cycle lane. They should really be moved to the other side of the fence just to give us a bit more space. A safer crossing over Christchurch Road here would also be a lot better than this informal island that we've got, which isn't fantastic, and if you're not confident, you might feel that you want to dismount there and cross as a pedestrian. We've now found ourselves in a second low traffic neighbourhood, and that's the Streatham Hill LTN, and the roads around here are all relatively quiet due to a number of closures. You can see there's plenty of people on bikes. We turn left and we head down Palace Road, which is a reasonable ride, although it is a little bit steep. That's very fun in this direction, although it is a little bit of a slog coming up in the other direction, although you can see people are managing it just fine. If you look at the map of this route, you'll see we're taking a slightly indirect way into Tulse Hill town centre. We've kind of gone on a bit of a dog leg, but comparing it to the public transport times, it is still quicker. Obviously, some people will still want to cycle up Norwood Road, even though it doesn't have great protected cycle infrastructure and has quite a bit of traffic, but this channel is all about showing you how to get places with very little traffic in a very pleasant circumstances. So I think there's absolutely no trade-off here. It's completely fine, quick and quiet. And we found ourselves just here in Tulse Hill town centre, just on Norwood Road, with the shops and the station just in front of us. So thanks very much for watching that, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. You can see there the dog leg. It really doesn't matter, but you could also see how if we got protected cycle lanes on either Tulse Hill Road or Norwood Road, it would be a fantastic and much more direct journey. For now though, those low traffic neighbourhoods really do work, and they help keep the journey nice and quiet for those of us who are trying to avoid traffic. I'm hoping to do a few more videos in Lambeth over the next few months, as I'm expecting a couple more low traffic neighbourhoods to be rolled out, which should open up even more routes around Streatham and Brixton and Clapham. So keep your eyes peeled for those. Make sure you hit subscribe on the channel, and thanks so much to all of you who contribute on the Patreon. If you enjoy it, you could consider contributing as well, but it's optional. I'll see you again next time. Bye.